Dear fellow AeroPress fans, I have a question for you. Paper filter or metal filter? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Josh, welcome back to JR Coffee. Today we're going to be talking about 3 different AeroPress metal filters that you can pick up online. We'll compare them to see which one we think makes the best coffee, and then also compare it to the traditional paper filter. If you're a fellow AeroPress fan, go ahead and hit that like button. And whilst you're at it, why not subscribe for more coffee videos like this one? AeroPress is quickly becoming a favourite home brewing method for coffee aficionados across the globe. And that is highlighted by the increasingly popular AeroPress World Championship that is now happening every year. But for those with a concern for more sustainable brewing methods, one main issue is the fact that we have to use these paper filters. Now, a lot of people personally believe that there's nothing wrong with the paper filter. In fact, the AeroPress inventor Alan claims to have used a single filter paper up to 80 times. But I know that I often get around 5 uses of my paper filter until I start to notice a different taste of the brew. But no matter which way you look at it, we are still using paper. And how I see it, we should all try our best to make use of more sustainable and reusable products. So this is where these metal filters for the AeroPress come in. And today, I've picked 3 of the most common filters that you can find online. We've got the Able Disc Fine Filter, the Cafe Concetto Fine Filter Disc, and the Coffee Co Mesh Filter. Now, I've purposefully not tried to make any coffee with any of these filters yet, just for the sake of this video. So let's start by opening these up and having a look at what they look like. And we'll start with the most popular one on the list, and that's the Cafe Concetto. This one was the most expensive on Amazon, and it was around £18, which is about $22. So first thing that I noticed straight away, that it comes in this raw cardboard kind of packaging, which really lends itself to the whole sustainable vibe. And if we open it up, we are presented with a small brew tip card here that has a recipe for brewing AeroPress. And if we pull it out, one thing that I noticed straight away is that the disc has been packaged in this plastic here. So doesn't really lend itself to the whole sustainable product, does it? So unfortunately, we lose a point here. So checking it out, it's a cool copper color. It's quite thick and doesn't bend so easily. Okay, and next up is the Able Disc Fine, which came in at about £16, and that's around $19. First thing I noticed straight away is the packaging is much more imaginative. We've got way more color on here, and there's a few more designs. It says that it's reusable stainless steel, and it's 100% made in the USA. Let's open it up. And again, we've been presented with another instruction card. This one is more colorful and has a few more designs as well. If we have a look, they are slightly different recipes. Aha! And this is great. So they have thrown the disc filter straight in the cardboard packaging, so there's no plastic at all whatsoever. So Able Brewing, you win a point because there's no plastic. It's all reusable materials. So this one is of a silver color. It's a lot thinner, and it can also be bent a bit more. And if we compare this to the Cafe Concetto, what we can see is that there's more holes, smaller holes as well, on the Able disc compared to the Cafe Concetto, which has less but larger holes. Finally, let's have a look at the Coffee Co filter, which was the cheapest at only £6.99. That's roughly $8. So open it up. Nothing else in this one. No instructions at all. And unfortunately, in the plastic. That's a shame. This did come in a printed cardboard packaging. So this one's slightly different compared to the other two. It features a fine mesh material. So the Able and the Cafe Concetto are just one sheet of metal with fine holes put into them, whereas this is actually a metal gauze. The Able filter and the Cafe Concetto came with the brew tip cards, which is really cool. However, they are both ever so slightly different. And so for this to actually be a fair test between all of the different filters, we're gonna need to be using the exact same recipe for each filter. So I have chosen a recipe that I've been using daily for the past month, which is a variation of the current winning AeroPress World Championship recipe by Wendelin van Bunnik. I've slightly adapted it for a 1 cup portion, and I've also added a short bloom phase to cater to my individual taste. So straight away, let's start with the control brew, and for that we'll be using the traditional paper filter. So we're going to use 16 grams of coarsely ground coffee per cup. As you can see, we've already gone ahead and grounded all of the coffee that we're going to need for these 4 cups. AeroPress is in the inverted position. And we're going to pour about 60 grams of water now. And then just use the stirrer to fold those grounds into the water. We're not stirring it. It's just to make sure that all of the grounds have been completely submerged. We'll set the timer and we'll wait for about 30 seconds roughly. Okay, 30 seconds up. Let's add the rest of the water. So we're gonna add another 40 grams roughly, not a lot more. So you should see 100 grams of water in there. I'm gonna stir it a little bit more vigorously, 20 times. Okay, I'm gonna cap it now, and we have chosen the paper filter. I've already prepared this one, so it's a bit moist and it's stuck to the bottom of the filter now. And then remove the air. I'm gonna wait for around 40 seconds now. Okay, that's 40 seconds. Let's now start pressing. I like a nice slow press. Just, take a moment, enjoy the process. We don't need to rush. In the final phase, we add 120 grams of water to dilute. And there we go. One perfectly prepared Costa Rican cup of AeroPress coffee. We've got our control brew now. What I'm gonna do is ever so quickly prepare 3 more cups of coffee using each of the different filters here. Okay, so here are our 4 brews. We'll start with the paper one. Now, this should taste exactly as we would expect. Now, for an accurate taste test, we must of course cleanse the palate. So, let's test out the first one here. We've got the Able Disc Fine. Now, first thing that I've noticed straight away is that there is a bit of fine sediment in the drink here. It also looks like there may be grounds on the bottom there. Considering that we used a relatively coarse grind, I wouldn't expect to see this. Although the taste is quite surprising. It seems to have brought out more of the fruity notes. Now, annoyingly, I've only got 2 glass coffee cups, so I've had to use a couple of pint glasses here. Let's try the Cafe Concetto. Again, another thing I've noticed, a bit of sediment around the top here that's risen. This one, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have allowed any grind through. This also tastes pretty much as I should expect it to taste. And finally, we've got the Coffee Disc Mesh. Very impressively, this has let through absolutely no sediment whatsoever. It's almost as clean as the paper brew. It tastes fine. Okay. So the first thing that I've picked up on all of them, one really good point is the metal doesn't seem to influence the taste of the brew that much. I am particularly disappointed with the Cafe Concetto and the Able Disc for letting sediment come through on the bottom there. That's not something that I ever expect to happen when I'm doing an AeroPress. The Able Disc has let through so much more, which is really surprising considering that the holes are a lot smaller. So I'm actually finding it extremely difficult to pick a favourite out of all 3 of these here. If I was going to pick one of them, I'd probably go with the coffee disc mesh for a couple of reasons. First things first, it was the cheapest one at only £6.99. And second of all, it's let through absolutely no grind whatsoever. The overall verdict? Yeah, I think it's absolutely fine to go ahead and pick any one of these three. As I say, do be wary, you might need to use an even more coarser grind than usual for the Cafe Concerto and the Able disc, just because of the amount of coffee grinds that they've let through. So the overall verdict, yes, the metal filters are absolutely fine to make coffee with your AeroPress, and I would say the taste is just as good as the paper filter. However, one thing to note, none of the World Championship AeroPress baristas have ever used anything except for the paper filter. So you might want to bear that in mind if you're going to go ahead and compete. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching this video here. I hope you enjoyed it. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this one. And we'll see you in the next one. Which coffee do I choose? Oh, I'm going to drink this one. Yeah. Oh, that's quite nice. I'm gonna go drink some coffee. See you later.